Today's guest is Jimmy Sorrells, who is the owner of Upstate Merchant Services, founded in March of 2020, and is also the founder of Liberty Networking, which he founded in February 2021. So, Jimmy, thank you very much for being on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. So, um, generally, like when we get started with these things, I'd love for you to just give us a little bit of context on, who you are and your businesses, and then we can kind of dive into more of the specific pieces. So just kind of give us a little bit more than kind of the bio provided.
Yeah. So I am 43 and I have four kids. I've been married for 21 years and we homeschool our kids ages 6 to 10. And I have been a entrepreneur for a little over 4 years now. I worked in the corporate world. I was with Kellogg's for a decade and got laid off in 2019 and took a phone sales job, which was not my personality. So I went from a salary to commission to when I started my merchant services business to nothing. So I had to start from there, start building my book of business and portfolio. And then a little less than a year later, I launched Liberty Networking. So it's an in-person network organization and they're kind of a vertical, feed off of each other. So I have resources to help my merchant services clients. And then also, they can as well, they can join Liberty Networking and help grow their business as well.
Got it. Merchant services being like credit card processing and things like
That's
that.
correct. Yes. And with that, I'm not an ISO or a processor. I'm an independent agent. So I work with different processors. So like think of me as an independent insurance agent, that type of idea. So I can shop with different companies and I can do pretty much any type of processing that a company may need. And the reason I like that is I'm not captive to one specific software or hardware. And then so whatever problem the customer comes at me and they say, hey, this is what I need, I can say, okay, let me see what options I have to help you solve that.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So I know before we started the recording, you were talking about, in general, like I'm having some issues like growing the networking thing. And while yes, I understand there's like tactical things that I could probably optimize for, one of the things I'm struggling with is the consistency of doing the things I need to do and the procrastination that comes with that. So tell me a little bit more about that, and then we can dive more deeper into it.
Yeah, I mean, so running two businesses and it's like trying to know what to stay consistent with. Whether it's following up or when to do it, how to maybe time block properly. Because, so I haven't cold called for my merchant services in quite a while, although that's something that I mean, probably should be doing, but all of my leads have coming through networking now. So that's kind of a two-sided, but then you got that. And then also, I'm still physically going to a lot of these meetings, as well as coaching the leadership in all the meetings on top of that. So, staying consistent with knowing what to be doing on a daily basis to manage two of them, until things grow to a point to where, I can have an assistant or whatever.
Got it. Okay. So describe to me like what is the ideal case scenario? Like what are you ultimately wanting? Like right now you're saying like, I'm not consistent, but what does full consistency actually look like for you?
Well, I mean, a virtual assistant in my mind, I don't know if that's exactly where the way you're headed, but a virtual assistant, if I had somebody to kind of manage the day to day for the merchant services and credit card processing, and I could focus more on just growing Liberty Networking. My goal is to have one in all of 50 states in the U.S. and but being consistent with like following up with the leads that do come in for starting new chapters, the applications that come in. I am doing that, but if I could be more consistent with it and be able to stay on top of that type of thing. And then whenever at the same time, whenever a need comes in for merchant services, I have to be there to follow up with that too.
Okay, so right now follow up kind of gets lost through the cracks.
Yes. I would say somewhat, yes.
Okay.
Uh, I could definitely do better at that.
So we don't need specifics, but like, okay, out of, 10 leads that come in, like what percentage fall through the cracks?
Well, I'm hoping none, to be honest. I just don't know if all of the follow-ups are in a timely manner. And I try to be like on social media, I'm very active as far as responding to people, whether it's a text message or a Facebook message or whatever it is, because I'm on LinkedIn, Alignable, I'm on all these different, and they're all coming in, and I do, I don't respond immediately, but I am responsive like the day of, and so whenever a lead comes in, it's I guess in my mind, so if somebody wants to start a chapter and they're in another state, because I am talking to people in various states right now, um, I need to make that more of a priority to touch base with them right away versus waiting a day or two because I'm dealing with other issues that arise for the business.
Okay. So in general, like 1 to 2 days instead of like that day, like what would be the
That
ideal case
yeah,
scenario?
that day, not within the hour, but just that day. Yeah. Or
Okay.
at the next day at the latest.
Got it. Okay. So I guess shrink that down from, I guess, average of 48 hours to 24 hours. Is that
Sure.
accurate for you?
Yeah, that would sound that I think that's
Okay.
reasonable.
Got it. And right now, why do you think you're unable to do that?
Oh, I don't know if I'm unable to. I think it's making it a priority, and I feel like I get sidetracked a lot, answering messages and issues, putting out fires, dealing with drama. Um, it could be anything from a member's not being able to log in with Liberty Networking to Wi-Fi connections not working properly for a restaurant. So so it's a wide variety of things, and I feel like okay, I gotta handle this, and it's that I'm trying to focus on I'm answering these emails, but then I got this message come in over here, and then I go and take care of that, and then eventually come back to this.
Got it. So right now, you're handling the drama and the things that pop up that seem to need your attention. But then the actual important things, like following up with these leads,
Mhm.
that's what's getting lost in the wayside.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like there's a party that's prioritizing the fires versus prioritizing the things that are actually going to get you more business and get you the growth that you say you want.
Yes.
Okay. So is that something that's like new for you to realize? It's I've known it. Like where are you at on that scale?
I probably come to a realization of that in the last uh 5 to 6 months. I mean, fairly recent, but not like in the last week. Yeah.
Okay. So even though I've known it for 5 to 6 months, I haven't been able to actually like solve it.
Not really, no. I
Okay.
mean, there are periods where I can try to hyper focus and get something done. Like I might be creating graphic. That's another thing. Like I'm creating my own graphics and all that for marketing, and then I got a message, hey, I can't get logged in or whatever it may be, and I'm like, all right, I got to get this. This is important. I got to take care of this, and then eventually I go back and finish that. Yeah.
Got it. So just out of curiosity then, because you were saying, okay, my ultimate goal is I want to have an assistant. I want to grow big enough to be able to do that and have like one networking event in every state, etc. So, but like you need to grow the business in order to actually achieve all of those things.
Sure.
Okay. So right now it's like the priorities are the short-term fires, not the long-term goals, right? So it seems like I got to flip those.
Yeah.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, and again, you can use percentages if you want, but like how much is this inverted priority actually costing you?
I That's a great question. I don't. Um, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So, so you're saying how much is it going to cost me to not flip them?
Well, right now you have all these leads that are basically dying and drying off because you're not getting to them in a timely manner, right? That seems to me, from what you've described, to be the main thing that you have to focus on for the goals that you have. Like, I'm not saying ignore all the other things, but it's like, if we're going to keep the main thing, then those leads have to get to, like, or be gotten to in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So them falling through the cracks, them going somewhere else, them ignoring you afterwards, do you have an idea, or can you estimate like what percentage of my current business was is that costing me?
Um, I would estimate 20%.
Okay, got it. So if you recapture 20% of that, like basically increase your revenue by 20%, like I recapture these leaks and that was 20% more revenue, do you think you could hire a virtual assistant and all of these things?
Uh, that sounds reasonable.
Okay. So the reason that I'm reflecting this back to you is like on the one hand you have the dreams and the priorities, but then your actions totally go against that,
Hmm.
right? So then I end up in this kind of hamster wheel of just essentially doing the same thing because like this is something I've known for 6 months. It's not something that happened last week. So it's costing me 20% of my business across 6 months, right? This is where things now start to compound and actually create fairly big leaks in terms of time and profit as far as what is available to you right now, because these leads are in your world right now. They're just not being nurtured. So when I reflect that back to you, what comes up for you?
Uh, just need to be, I need to make it a priority to be more proactive to follow up. Um, you know, one of the things like I do spend a lot of time on the network organization. But the leads that come in for merchant services, um, it's not that I don't follow up with them. It's just the fact that like some of them take a little bit of work to do research to find out what's going to be the best option for them, and finding the time to do that. Um, but it's necessary, and I mean, it helps the bottom line. So.
Mhm. So out of the two businesses, like which one actually brings in the most revenue right now? Is it the merchant services?
It has been the merchant services for a long time, but I believe I'm at a point now where the networking is starting to bring in more revenue overall
Hmm.
on a consistent basis. So, and it just takes more time to run it. It's a bigger organization.
Got it. So then are you prioritizing the right business to generate the revenue and to move you forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. I think I am.
Well, I mean, you tell me, like it's your business.
I
I
mean,
don't
yeah. I
know
mean,
all the
I feel
details,
like I
right?
am. Yeah. I mean, I like merchant services because I get to work with entrepreneurs and help their business grow and run efficient. But I love Liberty Networking. I've the network organization is what I started from the ground up, and I mean I started my merchant services, with no clients, but it's different. Um, so yeah, does that
Got it.
answer your question?
No, that's fair. So in that case, like, do you think you have a procrastination issue, or is this more of a clarity issue on where do I have to put my time?
Yeah, I think clarity. I mean, you got to have clarity, and I think that maybe I do like that in some areas. That's a good way to put that.
Okay, so where do you lack clarity?
On where to spend uh the majority of the time, and then breaking that up into top priority and things that need to be done first, down to what can wait a few days to get accomplished.
Right. So basically, since I'm not clear on what I have to spend my time on, it also means I'm not clear on what ideally is the ideal outcome. Like what are the top one to two things that need to happen for me to know that I'm moving in the right direction? Because then everything trickles down from there, and even tactfully, like, okay, well, how do I block out my time, etc. It's all going to be dependent on, are you actually clear on where it is that you want to go.
Right. I mean, I know what my goals are, but maybe I'm not clear on how to get there on a daily basis. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like maybe reverse engineer things.
So, okay, so what are your goals then?
Well, right now the goal is to have 300 members for Liberty Networking,
Hmm.
uh, and the long term I would like to have. I really want to have a chapter, at least one chapter in every state. And then for merchant services, I've been doing that for a while, and I mean I do okay, but I mean I'd like to increase the bottom line, like the 5,000 a month revenue, just with that alone.
Hmm. So, which one are you closest to now, the 300 members or the 5K revenue?
Probably about. I'd have to look at the specific numbers. I think I'm probably closer to 300 members.
Okay. So I'm closer to 300 members as far as the networking group, right? I
Mm.
want to grow that and I'm more passionate about that. Yet a lot of my time is spent dealing with fires on the merchant side and then also wasting a lot of time researching or utilizing a lot of time researching
Yeah.
on the merchant side. So it seems like a lot of things are actually being taken out by the merchant side of things.
I wouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely things that come up that have to be dealt with. I mean, I don't know if it's hard to put a specific time. I guess there's an average time because one week it could be very little and another week it could be a lot. So
Hmm.
yeah, there's a fluctuation there as far as that goes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So in that case, like which business do you actually want to spend? Like if you could wave a magic wand and only one of these businesses succeeds, which one would you want to succeed?
Networking, the network organization for sure,
Okay.
because I know how it's helped people and it's changed people's lives, and I love that. The thing about merchant services, I started that before the networking organization, but it does bring in residual income, and that's kind of like the nice part about that.
Yeah, of course. So I guess my question then would be, hypothetically, if you stopped the merchant services and went all in on the networking, what's your initial reaction to that?
Um, you're not the first one to say that. um, I my first reaction is I want to make sure I got to make sure my bills are paid, so that's a big deal. Honestly, it is.
Absolutely, but I thought because you were saying, okay, well, the networking business was generating more.
It's yeah. I mean, but this is very pretty recent too. But I
Okay,
feel like if I got rid of merchant services, I'm just like giving up all that, just giving up income though. I mean, that's the way it feels to me. Um, that I've built up over 4 years.
right. Well, I guess, but there's not a residual aspect to that.
No, that's what I'm saying too.
Okay. But I'm saying, okay, like I'm saying, if you stop looking for new business, like
Oh
take care
yeah.
of the ones you currently have because it's residual,
Okay.
that makes sense. But I'm saying it's like it seems like the new business of getting merchant clients is not as profitable as the
Yeah.
membership.
Yes, that's true. Unless it just happens, unless it is a very large business. So yes.
Yeah.
So that some of the bit, I mean, if they're doing, 100,000 or something a month or 50,000 a month, that can be a very lucrative, addition to that. But for the most part, I see what you're saying there. I hadn't really thought of it like that before.
Right. Well, then it's like it's a filtering thing. Like unless you are a business of this size, I don't necessarily need to talk to you because my priorities are such that I'm going to focus on networking side of things.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. So was that like something again you knew from before or not really from before? Like
No, well, I mean, no, I have thought about like not doing merchant services at all, but not thought about like not just taking new clients unless they're a specific size or something. No, I haven't done that.
yeah.
So
Because then that becomes a standards and a boundaries issue. right? Like
Mhm.
this is, you set the standard of like, this is what I want because this is what I'm moving towards. And then that clarity helps to trickle down and ensure that you are getting the right people
Yeah.
in your business and in and around just
And
essentially
it makes
like
it worth your time and all that. Yeah. No,
correct.
that's fair. No, I hadn't thought of that before. Mm-mm.
Okay, perfect. So in terms of like this clarity piece of like, how am I spending my time? Like, is there anything that's like outstanding for you from this conversation? Does it feel complete? Like, where are you at with that?
No, I don't think I have uh any other questions as far as that goes. No. I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying though. And yeah, that's
Okay,
yeah, I didn't have anything else.
fair enough. Well, like it's up to you. If there is something else, like we can dive into the procrastination, etc. But if you feel like you're complete with this, we can kind of end it early if it feels complete for you. If there's something else, like I'm happy to dive into that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's much. I'm not 100% sure that it's all like procrastination or if that's the right term. I do try to like when I know something needs to be done, I try to do it right away because I don't want to procrastinate.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's procrastination as much as it is um making sure I'm doing the right things at the right times.
So it seems like it is a bit of like reactivity. Like I just react to whatever's in front of me versus it
Yeah,
being
that would
intentional.
be a good that's probably a better way to put it because like things like when I make connections for people all the time to help them with their business, solve a problem, or maybe they're going to give a lot of referrals to each other. And so like things like that, I try to do it immediately because if I don't, I'll forget. So I'm really like proactive with getting that done and other things. But is that what I suppose should I be doing that at that time or should I be like following up on a lead? You know what I'm saying? It's like both of them need to be done. It's just like which one, and that's just a rough example though. But yeah,
Correct. And there is no right answer inherently in which one you need to do, but it
okay,
does come down to like, unless you are clear on what it is that your priorities actually are, unless you are clear on what it is that you are building, it's going to be really hard to make decisions where
hmm
you have to say no to something or you have to make a trade-off. Then you get into the situation where I have 10 priorities, which effectively means I have none because you, by definition, can't have 10 priorities. So I think the part you're experiencing right now is like I actually have a very hard time discerning what I have to say no to because I also am unclear on what I have to say yes to.
so how do you coach someone to have clarity?
Yeah. So the first part of that is like what I was asking you with regards to, okay, well, which business is actually the one that you ultimately want to build? So I think you have a little bit of clarity with regards to that of like, okay, if I just take care of the merchant business that is currently happening, and then I filter out for just like the ones that actually matter, like the clients I actually want to work with, then I can do what I'm actually passionate about, which is the membership side of things or the networking
Right.
side of things, right? So if I assume that that is your ultimate North Star, then everything is going to trickle down from there. And yes, there's a lot of like tactical things we could potentially look at, but like that would be the place to start. So like if that was your North Star, does that align with you? Does that light you up? Is there some resistance to it? Like where are you at with that?
That makes a lot of sense. No, I think you hit it right there. That
Okay.
makes yeah.
So if that is the North Star, then it's like, okay, if I'm saying yes to building the membership, building the networking, then I have to now get better at saying no to everything that doesn't align with that, which is really like in my world, when I work with clients, my working definition of focus is saying no to everything that doesn't align with the results that you want.
Hmm.
First part is being clear on the results that you want. So that is the North Star. Now it's a matter of, okay, how can I get better at saying no to all the other things?
Sure.
Okay. So what Like when I reflect that back, what comes up for you?
I think I've maybe not said it in those terms, but I've kind of my actions have been saying that uh over the last, six to slowly but surely, well, 6 to 12 months, maybe even back that far. Because I do maintain my customers. I do have customer service is very important to me. Um, but I have not actively looked for any new merchant service clients. They've all come through. It either was a social media lead, like somebody tagged me or something, or the most almost all of them are referrals through networking.
Hmm.
And people know that's what I do, and that's typically how that has worked.
Yeah, which is great. Then it's just like then it becomes a filtering problem. Like
Mhm.
now I'm saying yes to everything instead
Yeah,
of getting better at saying no to anything that isn't a business that is doing at least $100,000 a month.
yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense. I like it.
Okay, cool. So anything else that you feel like around this
Hmm.
that I can help you with?
Not. I mean, I'm sure we could come up. I got all kinds of issues, right? But that's right now. That's the only thing that's really on top of my mind that I can think of.
Okay, fair enough. So if that feels complete for you, I'm happy to have you close us off.
Yeah,
So is that okay with you?
sure.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, in that case, floor is yours. Let everybody know, where to find you, who's the best person to find you for either business.
Yeah.
Floor is yours for that.
Yeah. Again, Jimmy Sarles, upstatemerchantadvocates.com is the website. I'm on all social media. If you have somebody that is not happy with their merchant services, I would love to at least talk to them and see if it might be a good fit. And then Liberty Networking, again, based out of South Carolina. We're currently in two different states, and we are growing. So it's for patriot entrepreneurs. It's just like-minded people. And if you are a professional salesperson or an entrepreneur looking to grow your business, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can find my contact there at libertynetworking.org.
Awesome. Well, Jimmy, thank you very much for agreeing to be on. And I know this
Yeah,
is not always the most comfortable things to do in this fashion, but I acknowledge your courage to do it. Yeah, and we'll have all of those details in the show notes as always. And for everybody else listening, we'll see you on the next one.
perfect.